As part of the 70th anniversary celebrations of KNUST, Life School presents a special series with KNUST alumni to learn from their life experiences and share their special fun moments from Tech Campus. Join us to share our fun moments and learn from each other. Life School, sharing skills and lessons for life.
Our distinguished guest for today happens to be the past president of the Ghana Book Publishers Association, the current president of the Commonwealth Book Publishers Association, and the CEO of Smartline Publishing Limited, Mr. Elliot Agyare. We are honored to have you with us, sir.
Well, thank you for coming.
Please, can you tell us a little about yourself, your profession, and then your family?
Okay. I must say that I grew up not far from here. My early days was in Agyare, where my father was headmaster of a secondary school. So my first recollection of life was the freedom on a secondary school campus, where I could actually roam the whole of the campus. Almost most of the students there knew me as my father's son. So my father was called Agyare. So they used to say Agyare Bile in Ghana. I was very, very popular on campus because I was all over the place. So that's my first recollection. I went to primary school in Agyare, 1 to 6. After that, I attended boarding school, the famous Agyare Boys Boarding for 2 years. After the 2 years, I ended up in Apam Secondary School because everybody said Apam was one of the best schools when you talk about the arts subjects. So I ended up in Apam. I also say I'm a true Apamite because one of the few people who spent 7 years in Apam. I did my O-levels there, and afterwards I also did my A-levels. And I had a very interesting gap year when through my own ingenuity, I ended up at home for 1 year for nothing. And I look back with a lot of regret, but it was a very interesting 1 year for me as well. And after that, I accidentally ended up on Tech Campus. When I say the backstory is that one of my friends' brothers came home from the university. They were very nice looking young men. That was my first encounter with students who had just finished university. And they were well groomed, well behaved, and all that. We were quite the opposite, a little rough on the edges. I remember a very interesting conversation with him and his shock when he realized that I had 4 A-level passes and I sat at home for 1 year.
Yes, that's true.
So through his own efforts, he decided that the universities had opened, but you dare not stay at home. So he took me to Kumasi. We started going from faculty to faculty to see whether there were any places that could take me on. There were 2 places left in the art college, and they graciously took me on as one of the last 2 to be enrolled there. So accidentally I ended up on Tech Campus, and what a ball I had during the first year. I was somebody who liked the freedom and the interest in extracurricular activities. Took the whole of my first year. I think at the end of the first year, my grade point was around 1.4, something like that. So I was on borderline. I was not a candidate for success at all. But somehow I woke up. When I say I woke up, it's figurative. I woke up somewhere around the 2nd year, getting to 3rd year. And that's when I realized that I was actually on the university campus, and the purpose for being on the university campus was to study. And so I tried to play catch-up, but it was a difficult catch-up in the 4th year. But we were also one of the groups who happened to spend 5 years in the university because the university closed down. We were protesting against the Rawlins's revolution, and we stayed at home for 1 year. We carried cocoa. So many protests against the government. So we stayed.
Right.
So I left the university in 1985.
Wow.
Yes, 1985, graduating with an art degree, and I think I majored in painting.
Wow.
And yeah, so that was the early part of my life. I don't know whether you're interested in any other part.
Wow, that was most interesting.
Yeah.
Would you care to tell us something special or unique about yourself that very few people know?
Yeah, there are a number of things that, people do not know. One is that, I had a very great, what I term the great pivot in life. When, after my first degree, I ended up in the UK. And
wow.
a lot of us ended up there, just with the intention of going to hustle and all
Right.
that. But whilst there, I decided that I wanted to pursue higher education. And so I enrolled to do my master's in international relations, and it was a very great eye-opener for me because I had spent literally 4 years or 5 years in the university and not really pushed myself that much.
Right.
But there I was trying to do graduate studies where the requirement was higher, and I needed to do a little bit more. So. And most people did not know that I also attempted to do my doctorate degree. I actually did a few, I think I did 2 semesters. And many reasons why I curtailed it. But one of the reasons that I hold on to very strongly was the fact that, and it was a very convenient excuse, that my supervisor moved from the University of Salford, and I think he was going to East Anglia, and there was a bit of complication about it. So that's what I hold. But there was more to it than that. So I ended up not getting this thing. But the interesting thing is that when we got back from England, after being in England for almost 8 years, got back, my intention was that I wanted to be a lecturer at the university.
Wow, that's good.
And, but my master's degree was a third course. That means that I had a master's, an MA, not an MPhil. So, that could not happen. So I had to resort to doing other things. So I ended up in '93 starting a desktop publishing outfit, which was called Design Plus. And that was at the cusp of the major revolution in desktop publishing. At that time, Apple had just invented the Apple LC, which was I think the second or third generation Apple computers.
Wow.
And we were fortunate to have one. So, and with all the typefaces, things were changing in desktop. So I set up a graphic design studio to support the printing and publishing industry.
I see.
And that's what I did for almost about 4 or 5 years, until 1997, when Design Plus metamorphosed into what we're doing now, Smartline publishing.
Smartline.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
But then, Smartline started not too far from here, a few doorsteps from here, from a dining table.
Wow.
I remember on one computer. And now, we thank God, we are almost a significant member of the publishing fraternity.
Yes.
Yes, in 2022.
That is true. Wow. Quite the origin story. Yes.
Okay.
So, are you married?
Yes. During my escapade in England, I ended up marrying and having all the children I could ever have. So
How many are those?
I have 2 kids, grown-up kids,
two.
Akusia and Kofi, and I have 3 grandchildren now.
Oh wow,
yes.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Agyare, can you please tell us about the publishing firm that you have here?
Okay. All right. Smartline is basically a publishing company. When we mean publishing, is that we actually take manuscripts to develop them into some of these lovely books that are here. As I said, we started in '97. For now, we have close to about 350 publications to our name.
Wow.
That means the books, manuscripts that we've taken and developed on so many areas. We have children's picture books, we've done some university books, we've done some secondary books, we've done fiction. Of late, one of the popular genres that are very, very gaining a lot of interest in this country are biographies, and we've done a few biographies. We've done Samu Kujato. Recently, we just helped publish the Jimpa story by Professor Agyare. Biographies are also coming in very, very strong now.
I see.
Okay.
I see.
But I mean, interesting to know that, I mean, this is an area of business that a lot of people have very, very little knowledge of, as you know. I mean, because anytime I say I'm a publisher, people assume that I'm a printer.
Yes, you print books.
Yeah, I print books. And I tell them that no,
Sure.
I don't print books. I
Exactly.
just publish books. And they say, what do you mean by that? So it's good. I mean, publishing is a different area altogether from printing. Printing is just producing whatever you put in the machine, that's what comes out. But publishing is more than that. Publishing is manuscript development.
Right.
Which means that a writer comes to you with a raw manuscript.
Right.
And then you have to help him develop it into a book.
Okay.
So whatever he needs from that primary information that he's provided, up to the point where it becomes a solid book, or a book in digital format, or whatever format, enhanced ebook, whatever it is. That is the work of a publisher. And the work doesn't end just by just publishing the book as well. It means that every publishing company then therefore also ends up as a marketing company, because you have to find a way of marketing the books and making sure that the books gets to the reader. So that's in short what publishing is about. My business is taking raw manuscripts. Sometimes it comes in typed form. Other times we even take handwritten text, and you have to transform that into a full-fledged book. That's our business.
Wow.
Yeah.
From manuscript to fully fledged books.
Yes.
Right. You did mention that digitally,
yes,
your books are also available as ebooks?
Yes, we do that. For years now, we've had books on Amazon.
Wow.
Not only on Amazon. We do have books on African Books Collective.
I see.
In Ghana, we're one of the first companies to embrace the World Reader series. That's when World Reader came into Ghana to try and make sure that our kids are reading. And that's an area that we're very passionate about, because I'm a firm believer that as a country, our real resource lies in literacy, making sure that the whole of the country is a literate country. And we hold on that very, very strongly. And because, I mean, our conviction is that it's not our gold and our oil that is going to take us from where we are now, but a literate society where whatever raw material we have, we can add value to. So, I mean, if people are literate, they can add value to the selling of water. I mean, it will change everything that we're doing now. Okay. The interesting thing about literacy, if I may add, and I'm very passionate about this, so stop me when you want to, is the fact that if you take the world map of poor countries, and you overlay it over the world literacy map, there's a very interesting correlation which is there, that everywhere there's poverty, there's also high illiteracy.
I see.
And for me, that speaks volumes. It tells me that if we're able to up our literacy rate, somehow something magical happens.
True.
And it's no wonder that we have countries that have no natural resource, but they are very well developed, which tells us that our focus as a country must be making sure that everybody is literate. Because somehow, if there's literacy, I don't know what it is, but if there's literacy, somehow things change. Okay.
Wow. Words of wisdom indeed.
Okay.
So how would you advise a young graduate that would come to you for, let's say, life or professional advice?
I don't know whether, I mean, I'm qualified to tell young people now. They seem to be much smarter than we are, but maybe let me hazard a few words. One of the first things that I would say is never stop being curious. Curiosity.
Okay.
That we must be curious about our world. And if you are curious, you become a lifelong learner.
Right.
So for a young person who wants to do anything, you must know that you don't stop learning.
Wow.
So whatever field of endeavor that you chance to be interested in, you must learn anything and everything that you can about that field. Wow. Fortunately for us, we live in an age where information is not lacking on any topic.
Right, that's true.
Okay, so for this generation, I think that if you truly are very curious and you want to improve yourself, nothing really stops you. Because the interesting thing that has happened is that in this country is that we have very high penetration of mobile telephony.
Right.
And everybody seems to have or wants to have a smartphone. What hasn't happened in this country is how we will turn around these very powerful devices in our hands into tools for our own
learning.
Improvement.
Okay.
And life transformation, because within these devices is all the wisdom in the world.
Yes.
That was not around nearly about 20-30 years ago, but within your palm is the created knowledge that has been acquired over years, generations. So for me, there's no excuse for anyone saying that they cannot improve themselves. You
Right.
don't have to go to school to improve yourself.
Right.
And one of the curious things that I've found, phenomena that I've found around is, the serial schoolgoers. I say serial schoolgoers, that they never stop. Every time they're going to school, they finish, for want of something to do, perhaps.
Yes.
They want to do their masters, they want to do PhD, they want to do all this. But it's not classroom education that will make you. The real transformers of this world are people who learned on their own and use whatever skills they have and be able to drill down so that they become specialists in the areas of endeavor. And you can do that without going to school. That's not to say that I am actually talking against going to school. I'm just saying that for a young person who comes to me for advice, I will tell them that, whatever field of endeavor that you find yourself, you can become highly skilled in that area because you have in your palm a tool to make you very highly literate and highly proficient in what you do.
Right.
Secondly, I also say that you have to have tenacity, because the world out there is not one that you go and just pick up ice cream on the streets. You have to have tenacity. You will fail, and there's nobody who has desire to achieve anything that has not failed. You will fail, but the ability to be able to pick yourself up and move on, because this world it won't forgive you if you lie there. You have to get up and move on. So that's the second one. The third one that I'll advise, and this is something that I would have taken better care of my health if I was slightly younger. If I knew what I know today, I probably would have advised myself about certain habits that I indulged in when I was younger. So I would have taken better care of my health. And thirdly, I'll say that you have to also prioritize the things that are important in life.
Okay.
For those who are working 7, they get up 7 in the morning or 6 in the morning, come home late. We need to balance home life, home and work, the work life.
I see.
For me, that's been one of what has helped me, balancing my work and then home, and knowing that no matter what it is, the home is the most important rather than what you earn. I don't know whether young people will be willing to take this, but that's my little
definitely need
things.
to. Yes.
Okay.
We learn everything we can. We need to take better care of our health. We must persevere, and we must have priorities.
Yes. And also be lifelong learners.
Lifelong learners.
Yes,
right.
That's critical as well.
That's great advice, sir. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So, Mr. Agyare, what can you tell me about your life in KNUST? Did you have a nickname? what are some of your fondest memories of KNUST and what hall were you affiliated to?
Okay, I was in Republic Hall. I mean, I think
Right.
that's the best hall there ever was. I mean,
I
during
agree.
our time, yes.
I agree. So was I. I
Were
agree.
you?
Yes.
Come on, you couldn't have been in
Akukore,
Republic Hall.
I was.
When we were in Republic Hall, it was a completely male hall. That's why I let you
Oh, wow,
surprise
this is interesting.
Yeah, it was a complete male hall.
Ah.
Yeah, male hall.
So back then it was a male hall.
It was complete male
Now
hall.
it's mixed. That's
Yeah. So I started
very
off.
interesting.
I started off life in room 55. 55 was
I see.
on the you know where the SRC. The SRC is below. There was a. Yeah, you know where the SRC is.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
On
We're
the
on top of
ground
the
floor.
SRC. Yes.
Okay.
And then I ended up in Sight. I don't know whether you know Sight, the famous
I'm not
Sight.
familiar with.
You're not familiar with Sight. You're very young. I mean, it was the most
There we go.
interesting line on this. Just
Do
the
tell
line
us.
that faces the Queen's Hall and also Africa Hall.
Oh.
And
I
we had
see.
drums, and when the girls were passing, will be this thing. Some of my friends, they would be actually drumming and catcalling the girls and all that. It was quite interesting. Yeah. And the tech was a lot of fun. I mean, I must say. I mean, I've already alluded to the kind of person I was when I entered the first year.
Okay.
I mean, the usual Club B. We're going to the hedonist a number of times. I had friends all over Bomso and things like that. It was quite interesting. But yeah, so I mean, I think I didn't have my head screwed on properly first year.
The freedom.
Yeah, the freedom of being there and things like that. But that said and done, it was quite an interesting environment for young people to actually interact and be together and learn how to grow up and all that. It was quite interesting. One of my fondest memories, I think I mentioned it, is meeting my wife on Tech Campus. I think we met in 81.
Oh.
We became friends. Yes, I think we
You
became
met your
friends.
wife on
Yes,
Tech Campus?
on Tech Campus, yes. That's where I was one of the fortunate
Wow.
ones to have met there. We've been together for about 35 years
Oh, that
as
is
a married
beautiful.
couple. We've known each other since 1981, so
Wow.
we go really, really way back. What else? I remember, some of the interesting things I remember about Tech was, going to see her up and she trying to cook late in the night. And by the time I could see Jack, the Porter's Lodge was closed. And so I learned how to scale the wall down to go to my room. And it got to a point where I could scale with my eyes closed. And these days we talk about it. That's
Scaling.
one of our, scaling. I don't know whether the young boys, they still scale, but it was very interesting, scaling down and making sure that you're safe and go back to your room. Yeah.
I didn't know scaling was that old.
Yeah.
I see.
We're scaling
Wow.
in 84, yes,
Wow.
82, 83, 84, we're scaling, yeah.
I see.
We were quite young and agile then. I don't know whether I can scale now. Yeah.
I see. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Were you interested in sports or were you the indoorsy kind of person?
No, I was a sport person. I was a sports person. As a matter of fact, Joyce and I met playing table tennis on campus, and she tells me that
I see.
I was a very quiet young man, and so we met playing table tennis. I played for the university team. I think I probably won did we win a silver or a gold on one of the Gusa games? So
Oh, wow.
I was quite sporty. I used to do karate up on the Unity Hall, so I had friends like Yogi Boy and all these Orlando Baita and all that. We used to do some karate up there on top of Unity Hall.
I see.
Yeah.
Did you have a nickname?
Not really. I think that maybe because my name was, I was called Elliot, so the Elliot seemed to be okay for most people. But then, yes, I was Elliot number 2 because there was another Elliot number 1 at Katanga who was a very good friend of mine. So everybody knew me as Elliot number 2 and Elliot number 1. Yeah.
I see.
His was a surname, mine was a Christian name.
I
so
see.
that was a difference. Yeah.
I see. So, Mr. Agyare, you did mention that you've known your wife since 1981. You've been married for 35 years. And my sources also tell me she partners with you in Smartline.
Yeah.
So can you tell us what is the secret that has kept your relationship so solid up until this point, even to the extent that you agree and you are actually in business together? We really want to know.
That's a tough one. A tough one, but very easy to also answer.
Okay.
I think that, I mean, one of the things that I haven't talked about is the kind of change that took place in my own life, sometimes through her own instrumentality as well when I was on Tech Campus. Because,
Okay.
I mean, whilst in the first few years I was this person, I mean, meeting her really also helped change my life somehow. Getting close to third year, I became a Christian on campus. And
okay.
she was one of the ladies who took particular interest in my affairs. And maybe somebody would say that convert and then marry or something. I mean, that's a joke. Whatever happened was quite serious as far as I'm concerned.
Wow.
So that brought about a major transformation in my life. So she was my friend.
Okay.
She was somebody who believed me when other people did not, actually.
Wow.
Because the Elliot that they knew before and the Elliot that was after was quite, there was a very dramatic shift in my life and things. And she stayed on, she became a very good friend of mine throughout school. When I was about to leave campus 85, I realized that I had to make some very definitive moves, because there I was with my Christian sister. You're about to leave school.
Oh dear.
What do you so I mean, the relationship had become a little bit more serious than it was just a matter of friendship and things like that. So we kind of had an agreement that if it was possible, we'll get together in later on in life. And after school, I left for England. Later on, she joined in England. We got married. We got married there. We had our kids, and then we came back. We've not always had this business arrangement. She used to work in SOS College. She worked there for almost 10 years, and there was a point where the business was growing, and I needed somebody with the kind of expertise that she had to come and help this thing. So she offered to come. She does her own thing. Some of the things that she does are for international company that she represents, but she also gets some time to help me from time to time. So she's here with us. She has her own office. She has her own personal assistant that she works with. She does her stuff. And then we discuss Smartline. What has helped us, I think that maybe the belief in God and also enduring principles and things like that. Marriage is never easy. You have to be fully committed to it, and she's shown commitment, and I hope to God that I've also shown my own commitment towards the marriage, and we're still here after 35 years and still going strong.
Right. So now to the 70th anniversary celebrations. I mean, there's so many things lined up. There's Captains of Industry Night, we have fun games, an exhibition, and all that. Which ones are you looking forward to participating in, and why?
I think the first that comes straight to me is the sports activities, because I made so many great friends playing table tennis and doing other sports. So that's one that I'll be looking forward to.
Right, obviously.
Playing table tennis at the Queen's Hall, JCR, and also Unity Hall and all that. But I'm also intensely involved in the development of the 70th anniversary publication. So there's also going to be a night where that is going to be launched. So as we speak now, I'm neck deep in that publication. So if there's one thing that I'm looking forward to, is making sure that that publication comes out really well, and that is patronized by all the alumni. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Yes.
All right. And sir, also still on the celebrations, the Alumni Endowment Fund. Can you tell us a bit about it and what your view is on it? And would you encourage?
I think it's fantastic. The 70, donating 70 of anything. Yes. Okay. Yes. I think it's a fantastic initiative by the Alumni Association and things like that. And I will encourage that we do whatever we can to make some contribution towards the alumni and make sure that our alma mater. In other jurisdictions, some of these universities actually stand on their feet because of alumni contributions
True.
and endowments. So if this is an opportunity for us to contribute towards our alma mater, I think that's it, because that's where our foundation really, really came from.
That is true.
I'll encourage all past students to contribute. And not only the old, but also the young. I mean,
Yes.
everybody has a contribution to make towards our alumni.
Right, right. So, Mr. Agyare, you've shared so many interesting stories with us. Do you have any final comments before we wrap things up?
No, I want to say thank you too for the opportunity to be able to share our story and all that. What I will say to those who are watching is that all of us have stories.
Right.
Every story is different.
Right.
Everybody's story is different, and everybody has to be the hero in their own story. And what I will say is that we can do it.
Right.
I mean, some of us are coming from very unlikely backgrounds.
Right, right.
And where we are now is just by the grace of God and also through hard work and tenacity. And once we have that, all those ingredients coming in, there's nothing we cannot do. Your real worth really is not in all the things that you're able to accumulate, but how comfortable you can be with yourself at a certain point in your life and look back with no regret, but then looking forward to lots of things that are yet to be achieved.
Right.
Okay. So
Thank you
for
so
coming.
much. Thank you so much also for sharing all these pearls of wisdom with us. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
All right. Enlightening. That is how I will describe this interview. More captains of industry to be interviewed on the Life School series, so stay tuned. This is Daphne saying, happy birthday KNUST.